For our second kind of remake, this is a pretty simple song as well, but it does give us the opportunity to look at some new techniques, try some new instruments, talk about some new musical terminology. We are going to remake Rockstar by DaBaby. So, just getting started. I have my session open, or I am starting a new session. I'm going to call it Rockstar with my last name on it. Just double checking that I have 24-bit 48, that my location ends in desktop because that's where I want my session folder to end up. And I'm going to hit create. To start off, I can see that the tempo is 90 BPM. I'm going to come over to my MIDI tools. I'm going to type in 90 and hit return. I could also kind of just scroll up and down, but I want it to be 90. So as long as I see that here in the tempo ruler, we're good. Import the reference file. So if I go to file and import, as long as I'm connected to the share drive, the server, let's see, ws-mdx, audio production, share, no YDB anymore, we're done. Rockstar. I'm not going to add it. I am not going to add it. If I had an X special effect, I would do that. I am going to copy it. Okay, must copy. I'm going to hit open. I'm going to try that again. Again, this question, or it's not a question, it's telling us it is going to go into the audio files folder of the Rockstar folder that we made. It is making a copy for us. We will have it go to a new track. And there you have it. And my video has been demonetized, even though I don't have enough subscribers for monetizing. Go ahead and subscribe. JK, I could care less. Track. I'm going to go ahead and make a click track. I'm going to go ahead and make a new stereo master fader. So I'm listening, just using the click track to see that my 90 is basically on beat. But we're not, again, it doesn't have to be perfect to this. We're not going to be listening to this except for referencing the arrangement. So I'm going to shut that down for now. Okay, let's see. What do we need to do? So we've imported the reference file. So this song, if we listen to it, is basically two different guitar parts. There's this opening strum section, brang, brang, and then it goes into what's called an arpeggio, which basically plays through the notes of that chord, like do-do-da, 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 do-do-da.
Let's go. How you pull up, baby? How you pull up?
Okay, so we're not going to be listening to, you're not going to use the acapella for this one. It's just a little too school inappropriate. Pull up. All right, so there's two main guitar parts. The strum guitar that goes for 4 measures, plays twice, I think, so 8 measures. And then the intro, that is the intro, and then the arpeggio, which pretty much goes through the rest of the song. The strum part comes back as the outro as well. All right, and the arpeggios play throughout the whole song. So to start, I want to start with the drums. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a stereo instrument track. Let me listen to these drums. It's been a while since I've actually listened to this.
I'm a cop. Have you ever met a real nigga rock star? This ain't no guitar.
Okay, so this one definitely uses 808s, right? That boom, 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 boom. And that's the classic use of an 808 as that meeting point between kick drum and bass, because there are notes associated with it. I'm going to go ahead and start with battery. No more expand for drums. but I do not know what kit I'm going to use yet. I'm going to call this drums so that I can be on top of that. Let's see what this funk kit said. So really what's the big thing is that it's more of a clap than it is a kick drum. I mean a snare drum, sorry.
I'm a cop. Have you ever met a real?
And I don't really want to go searching for that drum kit yet. I'm going to use this kit. I'm going to show you later how to customize your own drum kit. But let's go for it. This is D sharp, C1, D sharp 1, and G sharp 1. All right, so if I look at my document here, it says that there's 4 1-measure drum clips, or essentially, parts. So we're going to be making a 4-measure loop. The first and third measures are the exact same. So the kick drums on beat 1, the and of beat 3, and the E of beat 4. Snare, 16th notes. Okay, so it's going to look exactly like this. So let me just get started. I can open up my MIDI editor window. By the way, I did that by hitting Control and the plus sign, or just coming over here. All right, and even though the drums don't start at measure 1, I'm just going to do that to keep it simple. I am going to use my pencil tool. At some point today, I'm going to show you how to use the line tool as opposed to the freehand tool. But I'm going to just start by putting in, reminder, you must have the pencil highlighting or activating the actual drum part, drum instrument. So I'm going to just do that for 1 measure. I am going to put a kick drum in, and I think that that's a very common thing, that you have a kick drum behind those 808s to kind of give it a little bit more of a transient. The word transient means kind of that percussive part, the attacky part of a kick drum. So beat 1, the and of beat 3, which is, so 3 E and the the E of beat 4. All right, hopefully you can kind of already tell. And the only thing, so I'm going to put in 16th notes. The only time I'm going to skip that is on beat 3. All right, so 1, 2. Actually, this is a perfect time to show you the line tool. So if I come over to my pencil and I click and hold, I'm on the freehand tool, which allows me to draw those individual 8th notes, 16th notes. But if I choose the line tool, it allows me to draw, like I'm literally drawing in 16th notes. This is based on whatever the grid is. I did happen to draw in one on beat 3, which I do not want. I'm now going to change my grid to 64ths. And you can see that now I have 4 grid values, grid points. And I'm going to draw using my line tool to get a hi-hat roll. All right, these are the classic, a guy I follow, Rick Beato, calls them the cicada hi-hats. Okay, so really fast drum roll, hi-hat roll. All right, so things I say here, work in 16th note grid, except when you're doing the 64th notes. Work smarter, not harder, since the patterns are all basically the same. We're going to duplicate this one before we just start working on a fresh measure. And even though the drums don't start until measure 9, we're just going to do it from the start and move them. Okay, so if I take this measure and I Command D, and I'm going to make a little mistake because I want to be really, really, really clear about this. You must clean up your clips so that they are exactly 1 measure long, because any additional that you duplicate is going to throw everything off by that amount. Okay, and hopefully you can tell that that is indeed off. Another good reason to be in grid mode. Okay, so second measure is basically the same, except that we add the 64th note roll on beat 2. So I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to go duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. I'm going to double click with my grabber tool. This is measure 2. I must click in the background to deselect everything. Delete beat 2, put that into 64th notes, choose my drawing tool, and there is my second measure. Okay, now just maybe duplicating it wasn't necessarily the right time, but it'll show you something else that we can do. So the third and the first, so we don't need to do anything to the third. The fourth I'm deleting because what I want to do is get this one in there just to save me the time of having to redo that second measure or that second beat. So I'm going to highlight with my grabber tool and I'm hitting Option, click, and drag. Option and click is a way to duplicate. I zoomed in so that I can make sure that I got it exactly where I wanted to be on beat 1 of measure 4. Okay, so what is different about measure 4? We add a couple of more kick drums. All right, and this is not exactly like the original. I want to get that out of the way so that nobody claims I have bad ears. Okay, so those are the drums, man, pretty much. Let's listen to the 4 measures in a loop. All right, I'm going to bounce those out. Bounce mix. Rockstar drums. So I can submit those to Canvas and I can just check on them for you. All right, from the drums, let's take a look at the chords that are used in this song. Actually, I'm going to pause. I'm going to do this as a separate video.